Welcome to Advisors on Growth. I'm your host, Derek Colin. In today's episode, we are featuring Wendy Sellers. She is the HR lady. How you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for asking, and thank you for joining us on Advisors on Growth. So, Wendy, can you share a bit about your background and how it fits into the bigger picture over at the HR lady?
Yeah, sure. So I am the HR lady. I have two trademarks on that. I started in HR kind of without a clue, to be quite honest. I had a degree from something else and then landed in HR. And we didn't have titles back then. So I was known as the HR lady in that small company. And then the company continued to grow, mergers and acquisitions. And I went back and got another master's degree, specifically in human resources and every certification known to man. And then I think I want to say 14 years ago, I decided to start doing consulting. So I am a company of one. I do reach out to other HR consultants and then other consultants as well that we help each other out. But my main goal is to help small businesses, really any business, but definitely small businesses who are never going to have HR. I teach the managers there how to be HR. And
Mhm.
then a majority of my consulting now is training, regardless if you have 1,000 managers or two managers. You have to kind of have your HR hat on all the time because you're the ones that's going to hear what's going on and what the employees are saying and doing or not saying and not doing. So that basically sums it up.
So, what industries do you work with? Are you agnostic? Are there specific industries or companies that you currently work with or looking forward to working with?
Honestly, pretty much any industry. Like I said, most companies that call me for to be their advisory person, it's because something's going wrong, whether they're having a trouble attracting people, retaining people, they have a problem employee and they don't know what to do because they're not sure of the laws. The bigger companies that call me for help, it doesn't really matter what the industry is. Some industries I might need to get up and speed on their laws real quick, but generally speaking, it's usually employee engagement, attitudes, and lack of manager training that is the real problem across the United States, really across the world.
Yeah, interesting. And when you say they call you in to advise when something arises or a problem or something goes wrong, who typically pulls you into that equation? Is it a CEO, a founder,
Yeah, it's
CFO?
the smaller companies, it's usually a CEO. If they happen to have like a director of operations or a COO, it might be them. With larger companies, I'm usually working hand in hand with their HR department. I know when I was in corporate HR, if I had the opportunity to work with an external consultant to just really calm my mind and say, am I on the right path here? It made me feel better. And so that's what I want to be for them as a resource to say, yeah, you're going in the right direction, or you might want to change things a little bit because you're headed for a lawsuit.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, that's a no-no.
Yeah, that usually gets them to listen, though.
So, when they pull you into a certain situation, can you explain, to the audience what type of situation is it? Can you give us a small breakdown or
Yeah, it could be really anything, but a lot of times,
Mhm.
there might be a problem employee and we're picking on them because they're a problem employee. They're not performing, they're misbehaving. We have to make sure that we rule out any disability first. Rule out any, hey, are your policies, do you even have policies? Are they unclear? Did you tell your employees what to expect? What's the expectation versus the reality? The biggest thing I see is companies, no matter what size, it blows my mind. They don't have job descriptions. And then they expect the employees to just fall in line and do what you're supposed to be doing. It's like, well, I don't have any guide here. I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing. So I'm guessing and I'm guessing wrong. And now you're mad at me. So I often see one of the first things is, okay, can we just go ahead and adjust or create our job descriptions? And folks,
Mhm.
you can use AI to help you do this now. That's the beauty of AI.
Yeah. So what major shifts are you seeing in your industry right now?
With AI, well, I'm teaching AI probably 3 days a week to everybody and anybody who will listen. I'm teaching a lot of managers, HR people, business owners how to use AI, like I said, just to recreate your job descriptions. Let's brush them off, make sure we have our company values in there. That's the other thing, going back to what you said of like, hey, why do people usually call you if they have an employee problem? It's usually their behavior. Performance is pretty easy to identify to say, yeah, we're doing good, or no, they're not doing good. But managers, small business owners, they're usually left scratching their head because somebody's acting inappropriately, but they don't know what to do about it. And I'm like,
Mm.
okay, let's look at your handbook. Do you have a set of company values? Oh, what's that? Okay, let's create them. So I've written 2 books, and one of my books actually gives a step-by-step guide on how to create company values using an employee committee. And the reason I like to use employee committees is that way they're bought into it, or their coworkers are at least bought into, a policy change, company values. And then I put company values in everything: job descriptions, interviews, reviews, good feedback, bad feedback sessions, all the way through hopefully retirement, if not another termination. But company values, folks, they're so, so important, and they could really help hold your people accountable for their not so great behavior.
Mhm. Yeah, so are these books, are they proprietary to your clients, or is it listed
Nope.
online?
I have a book on my website, thehrlady.com. You can get an ebook, you can get an audio book, or if you want the actual printed book, you can go to Amazon. You can just Google my name, Wendy Sellers, the HR Lady. My first book is called Suck It Up, Buttercup. Be a leader people will follow. So it's really not about saying to the employee, suck it up. It's to the manager, hey, no, you need to suck it up. You're the manager here, and your behavior and your actions are going to tell the employee what they can and can't get away with. And so we need to grab that mirror and go, whoops, I'm part of the problem. Let me shake this off and reset expectations.
I see. So it's mid-level or management, hiring managers or supervisors that
Yeah,
kind of.
supervisors and up, really. I mean, it could even be for project managers or team leads, but anybody that has to, lead somebody else and tell them what to do, and then they get stuck to say, this employee's not doing what I want them to do. What should I do? And I say, grab a mirror, suck it up, Buttercup. You have to take some action here, and you may need to do some role playing in a mirror because it's not always comfortable, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, you gotta take, look at yourself and say, well, what am I doing wrong? What can I do better? Our employees don't want to leave or always look forward to going on vacation, which I pulled from your HR lady website.
Yeah, right. That's one of my mottos is like, how about we build a culture that employees don't desperately want a vacation just to get away from the company, not to
Hmm.
actually go to the beach and have a walk on the beach and have some fun with their friends. So my second book gets a little more detailed into that. I talk about honestly jerks in the workplace and how to deal with them. And how to deal with them is to say, here's our behavioral expectations, and you're going to comply with them. We're going to teach you if you don't know how, and you're going to comply with them. And if you aren't complying with them, then you can't work with our company. And that goes for the managers too. Just because you're a manager or even HR doesn't mean you get to boss people around and be disrespectful and unprofessional. You still have to also grab that mirror and say, oops, I might be part of the problem here. I need to make some changes.
Yeah. So for entrepreneurs that are out there, or startup companies, or companies that have only been operational for within the, 2 years or so, what would you say to them if they need help with, HR before it becomes a disaster?
Yeah, so I mean, the first thing I would do, I mean, you could go to AI, you could say, hey, what am I doing right or wrong? You need to be looking at your employee handbook to see, oh, geez, this was created in 1960, or I don't even have an employee handbook. Do the employees even know it exists? And so that you're always, whether you have 2 employees or whether you have 2,000, so you're always being consistent. That's what ends up gets us in court is we're not being consistent. We're treating these people over here in this department one way, and these people over here in this department, or even org levels, a different way. And then, you may be not intentionally doing that, but your managers are, and then that can lead to some kind of discrimination or harassment. And even worse or equal, I don't know how to say that really, of discrimination and harassment claims is good old turnover. Turnover is
Mhm.
expensive.
Yeah.
I was looking at a stat getting ready for this today from Forbes, and it was saying the average cost of turnover today has hit over $45,000, which is a sharp increase of $10,000 in the past. Because if somebody gets up and quit, or you fire them, and it hasn't been really planned, now you're missing all that productivity, and it's usually billable productivity. So now you're missing that revenue, and then it is expensive to recruit. It is very expensive to just put an ad out there, and it's time consuming. And if you're not paying and you don't have great benefits and a great culture, you're going to be interviewing, and people are going to be taking jobs with your competitors. So let's spend that money on training our managers, making sure our HR is set up right, making sure, even if you don't have an HR department, you have job descriptions, you have, I don't know, these things called reviews. Wouldn't that be great if we had like ongoing feedback? It drives me
Yeah.
crazy when companies only do an employee review once a year. And it's like, you waited 364 days to tell them they were doing a good job.
Yeah. My
or
previous go ahead. Sorry.
I was, or worse, you waited 364 days to tell them they're not doing a good job. What were you
Yeah.
thinking?
That's wasted money because I mean, if you're paying them, 50K a year or even 100K a year, and then you let them go, and the hiring manager isn't really being proactive and making sure they're doing one-on-ones daily or weekly for that matter, it's wasted money. And then you got to find a new person to fill that seat.
Yeah, it's absolutely. And so you're missing billable income, even if you don't bill, but you're still putting money into your day-to-day services. And then so you're missing income, but then it's going to cost you a ton. And if anybody that's listening today has ever had to do recruiting, it is so time consuming that like you can't get anything else done. So if you don't have a dedicated recruiter, you're going to be working 60, 70, 80 hours during that time period while you're recruiting and trying to fill the position. And it's just not worth it. Why don't we just put the money into training managers to do the right thing, including even if somebody has 30 years of experience, they still need to be onboarded for your company and your, technology. So we can't just, wish things into thin air.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's better to, train the hiring managers because they'll have better retention with their employees and retain them a lot longer. And like you said, it'll save them money over time. And
Yeah,
so
and
yeah,
then the
go
other
ahead.
thing is we're often desperate, right? We're like, "Oh, I just need to fill this seat." So we hired the wrong person because we're desperate. Oh, please don't do that. That's going to cost you even more than anything. They're not going to fit with the team because they don't have the knowledge, skills, and abilities. You're going to have to train them. And you're going to, it's just going to be this big vicious cycle. So do it right. Get your recruiting set up. Do it right, and then remember, once somebody fills the position, you have to give them feedback. I would say at least 4 times a year. I don't care if they've been there for 1 year or 20 years. We really should be checking in. It doesn't need to be this long, drawn out process. It could be like a quarterly check in. Hey, how are things going? What's going well? What's not going well? What can I help you with? And then actually listen.
So I was an executive recruiter back in Dallas, Texas, and one
Oh,
thing one thing I can tell you is what we had great feedback from our hiring managers was really direct from the CEO, where we would have constant training on a daily basis, and every day after work, after 5 p.m. for 10 minutes, we'd go into the conference room as a group, and we would discuss how our calls went, how many calls we made, the conversations that we had, what did we do right, what did we do wrong. So there's always that feedback loop on a daily basis, and then we would have our weekly meetings every Monday morning, which
that's
was
amazing.
yeah, 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 and he was a leader in
That's
that field for
and the
sure.
funny thing is that the people that were the bad hires, they probably were annoyed with that, right? Of
Oh
like,
yeah.
"Oh, yeah, why do we have to have this recap?" It's like, well, because we want to help each other grow and we want to help each other, get some tips and tricks versus, I accidentally ran into somebody in the break room and they told me something. It's like, no, make it intentional. There's this thing called like the disengagement tax. They refer to it on Gallup, and it really talks about, the hidden costs of leadership. And if you have disengaged employees, it costs companies approximately 18% of the employee's annual salary and lost productivity. And just think about that. If my coworker is disengaged, I'm going to get annoyed with them, and then I'm going to start being disengaged. So I'm going to start going from, oh, I'm going to work hard and maybe I would put in the extra effort, but they're not doing it and they're still employed. So why should I have to do it? So
Yeah.
disengagement tax is huge. We have to make sure our employees are engaged.
Yeah, definitely. So what's working well for you now and what's been frustrating?
Well, I'm a business of one. I'm a solopreneur. I do have a 1099 recruiter on my team, thank goodness, because she's actually way better than I am on recruiting. And I think it's more because she's dedicated to it, right? Where I'm also putting out fires. And so I've learned to, as a business owner, I've learned to take on new clients carefully, right? Making sure I'm actually the right fit for them. And when you're looking at dollar signs, sometimes you go, yeah, yeah, I can do that. And then you're into the project. You're like, I so wish I didn't take this project on. And they're probably
Yeah.
thinking the same thing too. And because then your reputation is, at risk and destroyed. So I'm much more careful, these in 2026 and have been really since the pandemic of just taking on clients appropriately and using, I have a giant sign sitting right next to me that says no, using the word no more. Can you do this? Well, no, I can't. I can, but not for 3 months. So if I can't get you for 3 months, then let me go give you a reference to another consultant who might be able to help you. And it's very powerful. It's like very powerful to say no to someone, but then turn around and help them anyway. In the end, they're going to come back to you, even if it's just referring you to somebody else.
Yeah. So being a solopreneur, which metrics are you most focused on improving, whether passive or active?
My work-life balance.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we're recording this on a Thursday before a holiday weekend, and I'm taking off
Yeah.
Friday and Monday. Nobody believes me that I'm gonna do it, and I'm like, "No, I'm doing it. I'm going to the beach. I promise you, I'm not going to be working tomorrow, not even checking social media." So, it's
Yeah.
really to the point of work-life balance. If I don't have a proper work-life balance, regardless of what age you are, what energy level you are, you're going to
Mhm.
burn out and you're not going to be able to help people,
True.
appropriately. And then your reputation is going to be, harmed. So these days, I've learned to say no a lot more. I'm focusing majority of my revenue is focused on training. So manager training and HR training, whether it's in person at conferences, private sessions for companies that it's customized or online training as well. And then I do take on special projects, and I'm really, really loving doing employee surveys. As long as the company is open to the feedback. If they're not really open to the feedback, I don't want to be involved because I tell everybody if you don't plan on listening to your employees, then don't ask for their feedback because they will
Yeah.
never give it to you again. And they will be very, very angry that they did and you didn't do anything about it.
Yeah. 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 I'm sure a lot of people out there have been through that.
I know I have. I personally have. I'm like, why did you
Yeah.
ask for the feedback if you don't plan on doing anything? Oh, somebody just told us we needed to do it. I'm like, oh boy.
Mhm.
How about you don't listen to that somebody ever again?
Yeah, yeah, you give them feedback and then they just forget about it or you never hear anything about it ever again. It just kinda disappears, yeah. So what would you want people to know, or CEOs, founders of companies to know about the HR lady if they were to take you on right now as a client?
Sure. So the biggest thing that I would say is again, ask your employees for feedback and then listen to them. I could help you with that. I have been doing human resources for about 30 years in many industries and across many, many states, even across a few other countries because of mergers and acquisitions with some companies. And I got to tell you, every company has a different culture, even if you're all in the same zip code, even if you're all in the same industry. So culture starts at the top. And if you're not ready to shake up the culture a little bit, plan on having turnover. And turnover
Yeah.
does cost, as we already said. And so I can help you with surveys and polls. Like I said, I already have books. And then I also launched last year my own learning management system. So I have over 50 courses that are ready to go. Buy them all in a membership or one at a time. I launched my learning management system for like CEOs, managers, not people that were necessarily. So I launched my learning management system. It's called Insider Access with the HR lady for people who aren't necessarily just going to webinars for credits because in HR land, we have all these certifications and things like that. And we do in other industries too. It's, IT has it, CFOs have it, but I see so many online trainings and I also am one of them that provides online trainings through about 10 training companies, but a lot of people are going there just for the credit. So I decided to launch a learning management system for people who want answers right now. And so I made many courses, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, minutes. They don't need to be 3 hours. Like if you can get the answers in 30 minutes, let's get it and let's do it. And
Yeah.
so if you're interested in that, definitely check out my website, thehrlady.com. I have a lot of different training options already available. And then I'm also a host of a podcast. It's called HR Empowerment. And so you could check that out too. And a lot of really awesome, amazing guests that are giving out free advice. I mean, if it's free, why not grab it, right?
Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
my bottom line is sometimes, as I mentioned earlier, we have to grab the mirror and say, okay, I might be part of the problem. So do some reading, listen to some podcasts, do some training, ask for advice, and then open it up to your employees to say, okay, we need to make some changes. What else would you like to see changed here? Just be careful how you word it, because if you are, asking people that, it could open up an entire a well, and that's going to be dripping all over you to say, hey, you asked me and I want you to make sure you're changing it now. Let's face it, we can't make changes like that. Sometimes it takes years to make a change. So be realistic and be honest, and more than anything, be transparent with your employees. If you're not transparent with them, they're going to make things up, and then that's going to be the rumor that's going to be going around, and it gets out on the internet very, very quick, including to your candidates who you're already having a hard time filling positions with.
Yeah. So where do you want the HR lady to be in the next 6 to 12 months from now?
Ooh, 6 to 12 months, hopefully on a beach somewhere. You know,
The HR
um,
lady on the beach.
yeah, HR lady on the beach. But when I'm on the beach, don't call me the HR lady. I'm like, nope, sorry, HR lady's hot, hats off. Let's
Yeah.
face it. I mean, if you're passionate about what you do, you kind of never stop and you jump in and solve problems all the time. But I would really like my learning management system to help people. That's what I rolled it out for. And I wanted to help people who can't afford, me as a consultant or another consultant, and or, they don't have the operational capability of hiring an internal HR person or an experienced manager. So, get some online training, read some books, read my books. You'll laugh a little bit at some of them, but I think it'll really also make you go, you know what? We do need to make some changes around here. And unfortunately, many companies don't make changes until they're seeing people walk out the door and it's a little too late to save them. So
Yeah.
learn from that lesson. We learn our best lessons from major, major mistakes, and it's okay. Take a deep breath and keep moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. Ladies and gentlemen, Wendy Sellers, the HR lady. If you want to check out her website, that's the hrlady.com, the hrlady.com. Also, she is listed on LinkedIn, so you can find her profile and just look up her name. Wendy Sellers, thank you so much for joining us on the Advisors on Growth podcast.
Thank you. Take care, everybody.
Pleasure.